Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We shall be supporting both of the resolutions on the order paper tonight. I think given the rising infection rates and the fact that our National Health Service is on the verge of being overwhelmed, it would be irresponsible not to support any and all measures which limit physical interaction in this place. I think also we have a duty of care, not just to members, but to the staff who work in the Palace to make sure that their health is protected. And I think also we have something of an obligation to lead by example when it comes to enduring some inconveniences ourselves when we are asking people throughout our countries to endure much more severe privations. I have two questions tonight, Mr. Speaker. The first one is, do the measures go far enough in terms of limiting physical contact? And secondly, are we making enough use of the technological alternatives to physical meetings? I think the answer to the first of those questions is no, there is more that we could do. I honestly believe there is nothing that we need to do in terms of fulfilling our legal and democratic mandates that requires our physical presence in this place, and that it would be possible to have all of our proceedings conducted online. Now, I know that's a step way too far for many people in the House and perhaps those in the chamber tonight. But there are steps that we could take along the way to that. We could limit the amount of time that was spent in the chamber, perhaps looking at a 2 or 3 day week. We could certainly, as the Chair of Procedures has just said, ensure that all committee meetings, including delegated legislation and bill committees, are able to meet virtually. And we could, as others have said, switch the remote voting system back on so that people are not required to physically be present in order to discharge proxy votes. As to the question as to whether the technological alternatives are being deployed enough, again, I'm afraid I do not think that they are, and I think more could be done. And I say this not in any way, by the way, as a criticism of the efficient and effective staff that we have working in our digital services and broadcasting departments. But I think that the context that we have given them to work with is not sufficient. And I earnestly believe we are looking at this through the wrong end of the telescope, because in most of these discussions, we talk about virtual proceedings as an adjunct, an add-on to the physical meeting, not as an alternative to it. Therefore, we are concerned to find a space that is either safe or can be made safe for a physical meeting, and then deploy technology to allow others to join remotely. Another way of doing it, a better way of doing it, would be to move the entire meeting onto the virtual sphere. And if we did that, and we're committed to doing that, I think we could bring back Westminster Hall debates much quicker. It's not as good, Mr. Speaker. I'm looking at a white dot in the middle of my computer and trying to imagine it. I'm having a discussion with other human beings. It feels extremely strange, but it is better than nothing, and it is better than putting our health and the health of others at risk. So finally, I would beseech the Leader of the House and the government and those responsible for this to stop looking at these debates in such a last century fashion and to come up to date, to take a more modern, imaginative and creative approach to this and deploy the technology fully so that we are able to conduct our business of democratic scrutiny and not see that compromised, but without the need to meet physically and therefore spread this contagion.